पार्वतजा प्रार्थितापलिङ्ग विभो पार्वतजा प्रार्थितापलिङ्ग विभो पञ्चभूत माया प्रपञ्च प्रभो सर्व जीव दया कर शम्भो साम जाट विनिलय स्वयं. For me, Dikshitar is a phenomena. Dikshitar came into my musical life at a point where I was internally in a very low point of my musical exploration, and it just opened up a new world for me. And Carnatic music, for that matter, so many genres of music that we feel are inaccessible because I'm from the north and it's such a rich musical format. But for some reason, we always feel that we cannot touch it because it's too big or too intricate or too difficult. So Dikshitar at that point opened up these windows for me, and my training has been in Dhrupad, which is actually it's a contrasting art form. It's based on the purity of notes, and it does not allow for any changes in that. Whereas in Carnatic music, it's a Shruti based art form. So it's a beautiful movement that develops your experience of a kriti or a musical performance. Looking at Dikshitar, it was like removing certain outwardly things from an object and looking at its basic form. So it was an exploration. It was, if you're going into a forest and you remove the foliage in front of you and you keep walking and you keep realizing that the forest is deeper and deeper and deeper. But there's something there that there is something behind this group of trees or that group of trees, and you see the light and you want to reach that. And there's something that's calling you to find it. So for me, working on Dikshitar was like that. So when I was in this very interesting state of mind musically, I was given the direction to work on Dikshitar by a very close friend of my father's, who has been in, he's a musicologist, he's a music connoisseur, and he had this idea and he had read about it, he has heard a lot of great Carnatic musicians talk about it, that Dikshitar created a lot of compositions which had a very strong Dhrupad element. And he told me that, why don't you try to find that Dhrupad element? Because maybe, since you have not learned Carnatic, you are in the best position to find that element. And you are going with an open, clean slate. You have no bias, you have no learning to stop you. Your learning should allow you to see that Dhrupad element. And it was a very difficult challenge, but I said, okay, I will try, because it's not something that I would have, it was just too much of a a risk or a challenge, if you say so. And we get so comfortable in our zones that we don't want to step out of that. The first kriti that I took was Jambupate in Yaman Kalyan. I found some very interesting variations which I never thought were possible in Yaman Kalyan. And then I realized that this is how we can actually expand our horizons and expand our perspectives to look at something which we have seen so often as Yaman Kalyan or Bhairav. So the perspectives are different because of the way Dikshitar was and the way he looked at music.
It is not an easy thing to do. And Jambupate, as far as I know, it was a difficult kritis actually. And I really don't understand Yaman or Yaman Kalyan. Obviously, I won't know. But she found out where the Kalyanam comes, where the Yamanam comes. Anyway, those sort of discussions went on. A lot of frustrations because we don't know how to go forward. A lot of frustrations because we don't know how to do the talam correctly, that is the rhythm section correctly. It all went off like that. And finally, after a long time, she on her own discovered how to do. Maybe I just told you, please pray to Dikshitar. That's all we can do. Otherwise, how will you get this information? Somehow she prayed, I think, whatever it is. She got those ideas as to how to proceed. What is the tempo that has to be there? And slowly, every line she repeats, she will give me a call and talk to me. If I understood it, I'll say, okay, try this also. Sometimes I used to, whatever comes to my mind, I used to do. It's not necessary I know anything about it. It was more of a continuous interactions, corrections, modifications, acceptance, like that it went on. And slowly the kriti started flowering in her. In fact, I felt Dikshitar is working on her. Sorry, no doubt about it. It's something very unique. And the interesting point about this kriti is, there are three, generally the Dhrupadang, we don't have this sort of a structure. We have a first line, there is a first line called Pallavi, second section called Anupallavi, third section called Charanam. So there is a method of progression in each of them. It's not easy to start and then think that you can do that. It's not like that. You have to learn the Pallavi, Anupallavi, then the Charanam in a particular way. Because the rhythm section is based on that sort of a thing actually. And the Mridangam also has to understand this well. So the Mridangam accompaniment is completely different from Mridangam solo. You have to understand the kriti well. You have to understand the pauses. You have to understand the silences very well. And also the rhythmic section, where it has to come and where it has to join. And also we call it the thickness and thinness of the kritis, or the movement, the flow, or whatever it is. So I was very worried. How do I get a Mridangam fellow play? How do I get a Pakaj fellow play? By luck, because of that, what we had in Srinatha the Guru Goho, I just told her it may be this talam, why don't you try this? So it is in Karnataka Rupakam, we call it as 1, 2, 3. But it somewhat matches with the first Pakaj bowl, Dada Dinda, Kitda Dinda, Kitakatu Gadigana. So that is the first opening we got. This is a possibility. And then of course I requested Roman Das to have some teka given and things like that. She worked on it.
ये जो प्रोजेक्ट है ये बहुत ज़्यादा स्पेशल मेरे लिए इसीलिए क्योंकि मैं कर्नाटक म्यूज़िक बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद करता हूँ, क्योंकि उसमें रिदम और ताल का बड़ा एक अहम भूमिका है. मेजर जो पार्ट है वो रिदमिक है. कर्नाटक म्यूज़िक इस स्टार्ट्स विथ ए रिदमिक कंपोजिशन. तो मैं हमेशा से ही चाहता था कि मैं कर्नाटक म्यूज़िक की पार्ट बनूँ, जो अनफॉर्चुनेटली हो नहीं पाया क्योंकि मैं आई वॉज बॉर्न इन नॉर्दर्न पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया. बट रिसेंटली आई स्टार्टेड लर्निंग मृदंगम. माई गुरु जी इज़ वेट्री भूपति. तो मैंने उनको बोला ये जो मेरी ख्वाहिश है कि गुरु जी आई वॉन्ट टू बी ए पार्ट ऑफ कर्नाटिक म्यूज़िक कॉन्सर्ट और रिसाइटल. ही सेड सी टेक्निकली इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल, बिकॉज वो फिर तुमको बचपन से सीखना पड़ेगा. ये इसका तरीका है. मैं तुम्हें फॉल्स होप नहीं देना चाहता, बट वाई नॉट टू बी ए पार्ट ऑफ कर्नाटक म्यूज़िक विद पखावज. मैं कहा दिस इज हाउ दिस इज पॉसिबल. यू मेक इट पॉसिबल विद योर ओन एस्थेटिक सेंस. आई विल हेल्प यू. सो शिल्पा जी से जब मेरी परिचय हुई, मोहन अंकल जी से मेरी परिचय हुई, उन्होंने कुछ अपना थॉट्स बताया, प्लान बताया. देन आई वाज वेरी होपफुल कि पखावज कर्नाटक म्यूज़िक के साथ कैसा लगेगा। सो ध्रुपद, कर्नाटक म्यूज़िक, पखावज, ये सब का जो एक एस्थेटिकल ब्लेंड है वो बड़ा एक्साइटिंग था मेरे लिए। और जब मैं दिल्ली से बेंगलोर के लिए आ रहा था, ऑनेस्टली टेलिंग आई वाज टोटली ब्लैंक कि क्या करूँ इसमें, मैं मृदंगम स्टाइल से बजाऊँ, ध्रुपद स्टाइल से बजाऊँ, कैसा बजाऊँ। तो देन आई मतलब मैं भगवान पे छोड़ दिया कि अब जो कंपोजिशन मेरी कान में जाएगी, वो साउंड जो मेरे अंदर रिएक्शन क्रिएट करेगा वो मेरे हाथ से बाहर आएगा। अब जो होगा दिखा जाएगा, इसमें तो कोई पनिशमेंट मिलने वाला नहीं है कि आपने गलत बजाया, आपको हम जो है ये पनिशमेंट है आपका। देन जब हमने रिकॉर्डिंग शुरू किया, एक ट्रैक को हमने कई बार किया एंड एवरी टाइम इट केम आउट विथ न्यू वेरिएशन। तो वही है कि जब पहले मैंने राग को समझा, रिदम को समझा, फिर शब्दों पे गए, फिर सिंगर के एक्सप्रेशन पे गए, फिर वो एक्सप्रेशन, उनका एक्सप्रेशन और मेरा एक्सप्रेशन मिलके जो एक्सप्रेशन आया है वो एक बड़ा सक्सेसफुल है। और मेरे लिए बहुत खुशी की बात है कि नाउ आई एम होपफुल कि आपको अगर किसी और म्यूज़िक के साथ जुड़ना है तो आपको इंस्ट्रूमेंट नहीं चेंज करना है, अपनी फॉर्म में रहकर भी आप हर तरह की म्यूज़िक की से जुड़ सकते हैं। तो ये प्रोजेक्ट एक बहुत बड़ा होप, इट ओपनड अ न्यू डोर ऑफ होप फॉर मी दैट आई डोंट हैव टू चेंज माई इंस्ट्रूमेंट, आई कैन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ एनी म्यूजिकल रिसाइटल विद दिस इंस्ट्रूमेंट। सिर्फ एक ही चीज़ चाहिए, वो है एस्थेटिकल सेंस, उस म्यूज़िक फॉर्म को समझना है कि वो उसमें क्या चाहिए, कितना पावर चाहिए, कितना एम्प्टीनेस चाहिए, क्या साइलेंस चाहिए, क्योंकि साइलेंस इज़ ऑल्सो इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट। कंपोजिशन की किस लाइन में मुझे नहीं बजाना चाहिए और कहाँ से मुझे एंटर करना चाहिए, ये बहुत सारी चीज़ें मैंने इस प्रोजेक्ट से सीखा है। क्योंकि हमारे ध्रुपद में एक बहुत ही अलग तरह की संगत होती है वहाँ से, और ये इसका बिल्कुल अलग है। सो शिल्पा जी एंड मोहन अंकल बोथ हैज़ एक्सप्लेन मी मेनी थिंग्स कि इस कर्नाटक म्यूज़िक की जो कंपोजिशंस है उसमें वो क्या डिमांड करता है, किस तरह की परकशन की एक्सप्रेशन इट डिमांड्स। सो आई हैव ट्राइड माई बेस्ट to give my expression, my aesthetical sense and my music for this project.
I also feel, from whatever little bit I have read and studied and experienced, I feel that there was a time when Indian art and culture was deeply rooted in experience. From sculpture to music to paintings to manuscripts, everything was rooted in an experiential development of it. It was very internalized, it was very it was very deeply rooted in the fact that you have to immerse yourself in something, and that's only then you will be able to truly see it for what it is. Dhrupad is such an art form. It is very, the pace of Dhrupad itself allows you to internalize. And I felt when I was doing uncovering Dikshitar and learning about Dikshitar and learning these kritis, and I realized that maybe there is some experiential aspect in what Dikshitar also experienced when he learned Dhrupad. And the very fantastical and magical way in which he did his first kriti, that he was given one small piece of candy and he just wrote and he composed his first kriti, which we have also recorded in Rag Bhairav, Srinath Adi Guru Guha. There is a lot of experience that is involved. There is some level of internalization, and the soul is involved in it. There is an evolution of the soul that has happened. And for me, this project has been something like that. There is an evolution of my musical soul that has happened here. And that is something that I am trying to document here. So Dhrupad has allowed me to open this window and experience something which I would never have if I had not looked at this, the way I ended up looking at it. It was not planned, it was not, it's these things you cannot plan. These things cannot be process oriented. You have to just go with the flow. You come across a hurdle, you find a solution. And that's what happened here. I would just pray and sit with the kriti, read about it, play the music a lot, and that's when it would unfold. And that is something that I could not, I don't think, it's just been the most amazing experience for me to actually literally walk through this unexplored territory and come across bumps, fall down, get up again, and it was a trek.